Good morning to everybody. Honorable the Acting Chief Justice of the Delhi High Court, Justice Geeta Mittal, Professor Madan, my teacher in the Delhi Law Faculty, and all the other distinguished guests, Mr. Rupinder Suri, who is the President of the Supreme Court Bar Association, Mr. Raj Libran. Well, we, I think, have a wonderful program lined up today with the launch of LawSkills. I think this is something which is, extremely important, that a step that has been taken by Manu Patra and their team. I've been thinking about, legal education for a long time. I have, of course, been thinking in the context of education for judges. I've been associated with that for now, I think, a little more than 10 years, where we have continuing judicial education for judicial officers, for judges of the High Court, newly appointed judges who've been there for some time, and also for the judges of the Supreme Court. Last year we had a retreat for all the judges of the Supreme Court in the National Judicial Academy in Bhopal. It was a very successful program. And I believe it might be repeated again next year, sometime in March. But we've been looking at legal education or continuing legal education for judges, which I think is very important for a variety of reasons. One of them being that the law keeps changing. There are new developments in the law. There are new disciplines of the law. Something like cyber crimes, for example, was unheard of when I was a student. Intellectual property rights, well, we'd heard about them, but not in the manner in which we are hearing about IPR today. So these developments have been taking place over the last several years, over the last couple of decades, and I think all of us need to be educated in these developments in the law. One of the more important steps that was taken for the judiciary, of course, was the setting up of the National Judicial Academy and subsequently state judicial academies. But I think for the lawyers, for the legal profession, we had some excellent law colleges. The law faculty in Delhi was definitely one of the best. We had a very good government law college in Bombay and in several other places. But I think a sort of a quantum leap was taken when the National Law University was set up in Bangalore under the stewardship of Professor Madan. That was a huge jump in legal education. We've seen the results of that over the last couple of years, where we have some outstanding lawyers coming out of the National Law School. And over the years, similar national law schools have come up in different parts of the country. I think that has made a huge difference to the legal profession. We've had some very outstanding lawyers coming up in different branches of the law. But what has happened is that there have been developments that have been taking place globally. For example, in India, there was the opening up of the economy in the 1990s. So a lot of the lawyers who studied around that time got into what we call corporate law or corporatization of law, where you have talks about mergers, acquisitions, and so on and so forth. I'm not criticizing that at all, because that is something which was the need of the hour, and it's perhaps still the need of the hour. And we need to have good legal brains in those directions. So if you look at it from that point of view, I think the idea of LawSkills, which has been developed by Manu Patra, is going to serve two very crucial aspects of lawyering. One is that with the kind of courses that are being offered, they will be introducing the legal fraternity to a very large number of disciplines. Many of them are new disciplines, many of them are upcoming disciplines. Many of them are disciplines where we need some sort of a refresher course or a refresher understanding. So that is one aspect, upgrading our knowledge on various aspects of the law or various disciplines of the law. I think that's a wonderful idea, and I'm particularly happy that technology is being used for this purpose. The second benefit that I see from the LawSkills program is that it's going to give a lot of practical experience to lawyers. When I was in the High Court, we had a couple of law interns, persons who had done their law, who had got a law degree. There were a lot of students who had been coming for a couple of months during their vacations. The same practice is being followed in the Supreme Court. They're very good interns, very knowledgeable. But at the end of the day, I find that for them to be able to understand certain procedures, processes, how the registry works, and so on, is something that they're never going to learn, while working as an intern with a judge. I remember we had the most outstanding teachers when I was in the law faculty. Professor Madan was one of them. But when I joined the legal profession, I was completely at sea, because we were taught what is the law, how do you apply the law, but what is actually happening in the courts, what is actually happening in the registry, how do you file a case, how do you calculate the court fee that has to be affixed, where do you get the court fee stamps from, so on and so forth. These are things that were never taught to us, and whatever the reason. But when we joined the profession as young lawyers, all of us felt completely at sea, and it took about a month or maybe 2 months to try to find our way around and understand the practical working of the law. So this is the second aspect where I think the LawSkill program is going to be beneficial to the lawyers, where it will teach them the practical skills, not only of what lawyering is all about, but also I hope drafting skills and so on. Now, having said all this, I think there is a common thread that is running through the last couple of decades. The 1990s and the earlier part of this century saw a lot of development of corporate law, IPR, and so on and so forth. We are now going to see some other changes. President Donald Trump keeps talking about America first. Our Prime Minister talks about Make in India. There is a little bit of talk about de-globalization with Brexit and so on. Maybe there might be some kind of a shift. I don't know. It's probably too early to say. But notwithstanding all this, there is always a common thread that I think all lawyers have a duty to society, and that is to try and help those who are in need of legal assistance. That's not going to change. Whether there's globalization or deglobalization or whatever you may wish to call it, there are people in this country who need legal assistance, who cannot afford legal assistance. And I think it would be a good idea if Manu Patra can think of, bringing in some social content in their courses, or maybe have a special course for that. I was very disappointed, if that's the correct word. I was very disappointed to read some time back, a couple of months ago, of a survey having been done by an NGO called Daksh. I think they are also a lawyer's firm. They said, after a survey of about almost 10,000 litigants, that hardly 3% knew anything about availability of free legal aid. Now, that's a very poor, record, considering that all the courts, including the Supreme Court, have been laying a lot of emphasis on legal aid for the downtrodden. If we are not able to reach out, to people who need legal assistance but cannot afford it, people who do not know what their rights are, people do not know where to access those rights, I think we are letting down society. So this is, I think, at least one of the common threads that I find, which is going to remain regardless of what happens. And as lawyers, I think all of them are members of the legal fraternity. I think all of us have this duty to society to try and see what we can do, to pass on the benefits of our knowledge, of our learning, of our appreciation of the law, of our experience to people who need it. So this is one request I would like to make to Manu Patra, to see if they can somehow or the other, bring this in their LawSkills program. I would also be very happy. I think they're probably doing it. We'll get to know when we see the demonstration. The use of audiovisual aids. Films make a huge difference. Recently, I had been to the Judicial Education Institute in Belgium, and they're using audiovisual aids to a very large extent. And there are people coming from other European countries to that particular Judicial Education Institute because they have been able to have very good films which will explain things about the law to persons who come from other countries and who are perhaps not aware of the system in Belgium and in some other countries. So this is something that we need to look at. We need to exploit technology. Manu Patra has been doing a wonderful job in using technology for the benefit of lawyers. And it's, I think, all in all, the idea of a LawSkills program is really wonderful. And over the years, I'm sure you will enhance the program, you will enhance the content. And, I'm sure we're going to see some changes in the nature of lawyering by the young lawyers who take to this program. When I went through the list of courses, I found some which interested me as well. So if you have, occasion to have a judge as a participant in the LawSkills program, you can include me in that. Thank you very much, and all the best to all of you.